All right, it is 7 o'clock. So we'll call the January meeting of the West Lakeland Township Board to order. And our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, so the first order of business today is the public hearing on a request by Spencer Finseth to vacate a portion of the drainage and utility easement within Lot 10, Block 1 and Outlot A of the Artisan plat located at 13274 24th Street North. And so I will, we'll start things off with the moving party making a presentation. Just step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record. And then we'll entertain comment from the public.
Do I get a gavel?
Since this is a public hearing, you do not get the gavel. That's my job. I'm the guy with the gavel.
Hi,
It's kind of a virtual gavel, but
my name is Spencer Finseth, and my wife is here as well, Shonda Finseth, and we are current owners of that lot and that little outlot. We purchased about 5 months ago, something like that. And you wanted to know should I tell the quick story on what we're looking for?
And actually, let me just stop for 1 second here. I thought I saw a report from our planner. Did she? Yeah, it says Spencer Finseth is the applicant, but not currently listed as a property owner. Is that just because she just didn't have current information?
Yeah, I sent her the title insurance, and her and I just were chatting online a day or two ago, and I said, "Did you need more than my actual title work?" And she said, "No, if you're the owner, you're fine."
Okay.
So,
and then I just asked council, is that, are we, do we need anything further before we act on this? This is kind of maybe putting the cart a little bit before the horse because we haven't heard the whole thing yet. But I mean, do we need anything in view of, do we need something to prove that there's ownership here before we act on it ultimately, assuming we do?
Mr. Chair and Board, no, not really. This ultimately comes as a petition requesting the town board take action. But ownership really isn't tied to the request. It's your easement and you can choose to get rid of part of it if you so choose.
But we would want to have the owner, whoever that is, at least concur with the action that we take, I would assume.
Be aware
They'd
of
have to
it.
ratify it.
Be aware of it, yeah. It's unlike a zoning application where that's absolutely true.
Okay.
Because you're giving some permission to their property. In this particular case, technically speaking, everyone in this plat has an interest in these easements. So it's not really owned by that owner. It really is ultimately held by the town, but for the benefit of those in the area. So certainly you would want the owner to be aware of it. And we have someone here representing that they are the owner, and
Yep.
and the owner could be here if I wasn't, I would have had to notify them.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. I'm sorry about the interruption.
No,
Go ahead,
great call.
please. Yeah.
We purchased the property and we were looking to build a new home on the lot. And kind of after going through trying to put we're not even building that large of a house, but a house with a little pool deck around it, if you guys see it. We ended up having almost a 15-foot retaining wall. If you can see, this is just kind of the Exhibit A. It doesn't show kind of the if you guys know that neighborhood, it's just, what did someone call that, a milk or an egg crate? And so there it is. So you can kind of see where the house is on that bottom right, the detail, if someone could blow that up a little. That's a little. Oh, it's perfect. Thank you. So you can see the existing house that was there. And what they did is they took really kind of the basement and just shoved it into the kind of the wetland area. So there's this kind of little weird outcropping, and then its septic, its drain field was off on the hill. It doesn't kind of show you there, but it's way up. You see where the garage and the pool deck kind of come together? Down that hill would be the septic, which can't do anymore. It's all mound pretty much anyway. So we started to place the house, and then do you see that point? Can I just show it? Can I just point this? It's this guy right here. It's killing us. And then this here. So when we tried to move the house, was trying to figure out how to not make that retaining wall where the pool is so large. And so I was working with Cornerstone and our civil folks and trying to figure out how do we move the house. Do we move it this way, that way? Can we move the pool? We did everything. I've spent a lot of time, and that the best we can make was that 14 foot 4 feet, or sorry, 14 foot 4 inches is that retaining wall size, which is just going to look horribly ugly. And so I started the question, wow, it looks like that easement, the blue drainage and utility easement looks funny. Did someone get lazy and just not follow the setback from the wetlands? And so that kind of started my conversation with the original owner. He couldn't remember why any of these were there. And when the house was originally built, all the services were entered from the north side, which no longer happen after he's divided the lots up. So all the services now come in from the south side, from 24th. So again, just trying to figure out what does this mean? So I started calling the utility companies, like, do you guys own any? Then I started chatting with you folks, and nobody knows why they were there. And so then I got a hold of Bar Engineering and said, do you guys from on the watershed, why is this extra drainage utility only on my property and not on where the street would be or something like that? Because we already have the utilities. We already have the setbacks for the wetland. And they said, no, I don't know. We don't even know why they're there. So now I'm here today.
And you're talking about the drainage and utility easement that it's in a north-south orientation on the east boundary of the lot?
Yeah, so if I go back up, if you want to put that other one back up. So they just thought, what we were originally going to do was remove all of the utility and drainage easements. Can you bring this down a little? I'm assuming I'm broadcasting online, right? So, so we were going to vacate this as well over here, so the top north side, and the plant or the commission thought it might best for us just to stop here, stop there, and then we're going to leave all of that because I don't care, I don't need any of this. So what we're looking to vacate is this along the west side, this along the east side, and then this along the north side of the pond. That makes sense. And then we're moving the house about 10 feet on that little point. It's going to be moved about 10 feet. So we're not doing much, but it will lower our retaining wall down to about 6 feet at its highest spot. And then I get to use the back slope. So I'll be at 0 feet. There will be a small retaining wall. And again, it is not just the cost. The cost is the cost, but it was just going to look horribly ugly, I thought. And who knew there's a 6-acre lot I could barely fit a house on. So then we had to move the, because it's not a drain field, but it's a mound system. We're having to move the mound now all the way out almost near the road. So we've got about a 360-foot travel from our tanks to the road. But that's what it is. But it was just a hard lot to find to put a house on. So, and then now it's also created we'll be adding 4 rain gardens as well to the site. So there'll be 3 surrounding the house, and then there's going to be a new one kind of down closer to that existing garage that's there. What else?
The plan also contemplates merging that lot with Outlot A, correct?
Oh yeah, your planning commission thought that should be, and I totally agree. I don't know why they were separate, but that was part of your planning commission saying they wanted to have that at the same time.
Okay.
Which they think they should be.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's see, we probably should hear from the planning commission, since the planning commission has reviewed this request, and I would think they're okay. Planning commission support. Is there any public comment? Anybody want to speak to the request? It's a public hearing, so it's your opportunity to do so.
By the way, I apologize for not being at the last board meeting. I didn't know I was supposed to be here.
Okay, that's right.
Just FYI.
Yep, we can move forward. Okay, good. So hearing none, then I will close the public hearing portion. And now we'll just discuss it as a board. And at this point, also, I think I should hear from our engineer, who I think has looked at this in collaboration with Watershed, I think, and also just independently, I think, on your own too.
Yeah, Mr. Chair and Board, the Watershed did work alongside me for my review and concur that the easement vacations as presented still would meet current Watershed District rules surrounding 100-year high water levels and such. And the access loss with the vacated easements is not concerning to me on the township's behalf if the vacation were to be approved.
All right, and we're talking about, I think, the crosshatched area on Exhibit A, which basically doesn't eliminate but shrinks the drainage and utility easement somewhat, mostly on the north side, of a small pond that's on the property. Is
That is correct.
am I stating that right? Okay. And we're retaining the drainage easement along the east and west lot lines, not of the old lot, but of the newly condensed lot. Is that right too, or not? I'm not sure about that.
With the lot combination proposed for Lot A and Lot 10, which are the 2 parcels in question, your south lot line, or southeast lot line rather, only a portion of it has a 10-foot drainage and utility easement on the side lot line. Outlot A does not have that side lot easement,
Okay.
which would typically be required if it were platted as one lot to continue on. That is just a shared lot line easement that's pretty standard with all plats for drainage and utility purposes.
So should there be a drainage and utility easement along that south east lot line of the newly created parcel, or not?
If this were evaluated as one lot with the original plat, it would have been a recommendation of engineering to continue that drainage and utility easement.
Council, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that is a condition of the approval of the vacation as written right now. As is indicated, I mean, that is pretty typical. That when you create a platted lot, you have drainage and utility easements around that. With an outlot, that's usually not the case because they're usually held in abeyance. Either they're never going to be developed or they're developed as part of a separate plat that has their separate dedication of utility easements. In this particular case, I thought it was interesting. I went back and looked at the original development agreement, and the way it appeared to be contemplated when this plat was first approved, it was contemplated that this outlot would be attached to one of the adjoining lots. It's just that it almost seemed like whichever owner wanted it, they could buy it and then attach it to their lot. So this is consistent with the original development agreement. But of course, we don't have the utility easements over that outlot. So that is a condition. We have to work that out because really in this particular case, obviously there isn't a new lot being dedicated here with where you would normally do it as part of a plat. So if you wanted to move forward with this, if this is what the board wants and the landowner is okay with it, we'd actually have to develop easement forms with legal description saying, I, the owner, hereby convey to the township a drainage utility easement over 10 feet along that outlot boundary.
All right. Okay, so that'll be, that, assuming we proceed with this, that'll be a condition of that, of the vacation.
That's how it's written right now, based on the recommendation from the engineer. It's open to discussion.
Okay. Right. I don't really have any other questions. Do you have anything, John, you would like to add?
Just a minor comment. You ever thought of rotating the house counterclockwise a few degrees to give you more room for the driveway?
I've rotated this house so many times, it's almost spinning by now.
Okay.
We're actually gonna, it's drawn actually not even to code because we're too close to the lot line. So I know my driveway's gotta, it's gotta get closer this way because we don't have the 10 feet. The guy from Cornerstone didn't have the 10 feet from the thing yet. So that's, I gotta tell him that. But no, I've tried to turn it. The more you turn it, the bigger that hill gets. Because it's, you can see the corner of the patio rotates right on that contour line. Does that make sense? And then I tried to move the patio and flip the house, but I can't. And then our other option was to throw the plans away and start over. And I just know if, I thought you guys would be easier.
Anything else, John? I have a question for our engineer, and that is, would vacating the easements that are proposed to be vacated interfere with stormwater runoff, drainage, or the maintenance of that pond, or any of those things that we might be concerned with?
And Mr. Chair and Board, you would still have access via side lot drainage and utility easements to the water bodies in question if there were to ever need to be public access for them for some reason in the future, either by access along these side lot lines or neighboring parcels with drainage and utility easements that connect to it.
Okay, and so would you say that the easement that was created it was perhaps more generous than it needed to be in terms of its size, and that this is going to be adequate if we vacate the portions that are proposed to be vacated?
I believe so. I can't speak to why they were drawn the way they were to begin with, but all signs and relevant agencies that have looked at it or have had comments on the original plan seem to be sufficiently covered with the easement after the proposed vacation. So,
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chad. Anything else before we vote on this?
So I just have a quick question to understand the, and the outlot truly is unbuildable. There's just nothing you could do on there. So if this is the one he sent me without he's taken the property lines out, but so if this was the property line splitting the main house or the main lot with the outlot, were you talking about just running this down the whole way? Can I?
Sure.
it's actually right here. This is
Oh,
out
there
there.
it is.
Yeah.
There's the property line. Okay, I didn't see that there. Okay,
So this goes away.
there we go. Okay, so what would this easement just keeps going down this way?
Yep, until it ties to this. So
Ah,
this is a D&E.
awesome.
So it'd just be a 10-foot side lot easement to connect the dots.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
So,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. that
yep,
was okay.
absolutely.
And then there would be
That's already under a DM. you mean?
Well, yeah. So the whole pond takes it, yeah.
So you'd be contiguous all the way around with this gap filled
Perfect,
in
yeah.
after the lot were combined.
That would make sense. And that would be the result, or the putting the lots back together and all that. Is that how it happens?
There, so, Mr. Chair and board, there would actually be another form that, an easement form that would be drafted
Okay,
that just says you convey to the town a drainage and utility easement along
Right.
that stretch.
but all of that can, well, that, I guess that's separate of combining the lots, right? That's just two different things. Okay.
Right, yeah. I mean, we
Separate
can,
document.
we can deal with it at the same time, I think, but
Okay.
off the top of my head, frankly, I'm not sure what we need to do to combine the lots. I mean, in some communities, it's just a matter of combining the PID numbers. Ideally, though, in order to get rid of that line, from a legal perspective, you want to combine the parcels on the same deed, so
Yeah.
that lot line goes away. Otherwise, you're gonna be in violation of setbacks and things like
Right.
that, so.
Did you have Jesse look at the north, end of the property for the septic up there?
Yes, not a chance.
Okay,
Because it's a mound. He can't get a 65-foot level area anywhere on that north side. Matter of fact, we even went up into the outlot to think, could we get it up there, pump it up there?
yep,
Well, there is nothing. We've walked every inch of this space. We thought we could get it along maybe where that garden 2 is off to the east. And it's just not long enough. Because I really don't want it in my front yard,
yeah.
but
You can put a mound on a slope. So,
kind of.
I,
I mean, I'm using Jesse, so I'm not the expert. And we walked it. I tried anything to not have it where it's at. Because I don't know if you guys see where it is, but it's,
yes, I do.
yeah, I don't want it there either. But that is I didn't try to bribe him, but I was close, like anything. But that's all he thought would work for the septic, so.
All right. Well, I think I'll move that we approve the vacation of the partial vacation of the easements that are on the property as depicted on Exhibit A, and in consideration of the other conditions that we talked about, I'll move that we approve that vacation, subject to those other conditions.
Now I suppose you want a second.
Yeah.
I second. that.
Moved and seconded, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? Okay, very good. So, there'll be paperwork though. So,
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Board.
you bet, yeah. Good luck. Okay. Yes, you may. Yep. Oh, thanks. You know, okay, the next thing is approval of minutes, but I have to confess that I got two page 3s in my packet, and so I don't have the whole thing. Sure, trade you. Okay. Just take a quick peek at this. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, yep. So I don't really have any changes to the draft minutes as proposed. Do you have anything, John?
No, I don't.
I'll make a motion that we accept those draft minutes.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay. Minutes are approved. All right. Let's see, next item will be the treasurer's report and payment of the bills. Marcia.
Good evening. In the month of December, the township received $1,195,023.99 in receipts. Of this, $1,163,874 came in property taxes from Washington County. $10,850 came from building permits, $2,000 from escrow, and $600 from right-of-way permits. The township paid out $283,033.36. $11,279 was payroll. We had several escrow returns. $13,729 for engineering, $17,488 for M&S for some emerald ash borer cleanup, $113,750 for patching to RCM, and $7,222 for recycling from tennis. There was also a $31,645 invoice from Washington County for CASA 15, the town share, and $44,954 for Bayport Fire, bringing the township's net assets to $6,530,546.98. We have one CD that matured today, actually, and so I have not called on it, but I will let you know what I find out tomorrow, Phil,
Okay.
for Bell Bank.
Is that a candidate to be moved into the
Think so.
to that fund, that M4 fund?
I think so. It's through Bell Bank, and so Bell Bank was bought out by Old National, I believe. So there isn't a location kind of nearby. So I
Right.
think that yes, I'll probably request a check and throw it into the 4M fund.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything further?
Nope, that is all I have.
I'll move that we accept the treasurer's report and approve payment of the bills.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll need a roll call.
Chairman Moosberger,
Aye?
Supervisor Buelow.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, planning commission updates. Dallas, no, yeah, Marcus here.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Mark?
Just a couple items. One regarding the strategy for the comprehensive plan for 2030. I guess the last two comprehensive plans were done by volunteers. This time, the volunteers are recommending we use professional services. We have a proposal from WSB. I believe you should have it in your packets. It's not to exceed proposal, maybe approximately 100 hours or so for WSB to provide planning services at $22,500, and the planning commission is recommending that you plan for that. Include that in your budget with some contingency.
Yes, and I think we have talked about that in our budgetary discussions, and I think our budget will accommodate that. In fact, I know it will, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should. I mean, it
So
seems
we-
like if we start on it this year, it should accommodate it because we're not using the extent of planning services that are
Yeah, we're
budgeted.
I think
so,
we're
yeah.
set that way. The only thing I'm wondering is, what do we, this is a letter. I assume there'd be some contractual documentation that we'll have to enter into. We have that letter proposal that you referred to, and I'm certainly, in favor of doing that, but I assume that we'll have to dot some i's and cross some t's.
So we do have a services agreement with WSB. This may be, however, you choose to do it, I guess, Troy. But I suppose some kind of amendment to that or any an extension of that service agreement. And things like this are even discussed in that services agreement. This would be a special project where the scope would be defined with an estimate or agreed upon amount. We would like to spend a little more time on this topic amongst the planning commission and make a recommendation to you of a work group that would be aligned to work closely with WSB through this process of drafting and review, and then at least 2 public information type sessions, whether that's at a town board meeting or independent. But we just like to kind of talk through that a little more amongst the planning commission and make a recommendation of the individuals that might be in this work group. And we'll propose that there should be at least 1 town board member, 1 staff member, maybe 2 from the planning commission, something like that. That's what we're thinking. So give us some time for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
The other topics I have are on the meeting agenda around the power and the Montessori school. So maybe we just hold off on that till we get to those topics. I think they're next 2 agenda items tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't think, is Montessori on there? I don't think it is.
Oh,
No,
I'm
but
sorry.
But
Yeah,
the
they
tower
are.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
The tower is, yeah,
6
you're right
and
about
7.
that.
Are they even here?
No.
No, really? What, are they gonna be on the agenda? Or should we hold off? We did review both
Referring
of these
to
with them.
AT&T, or are you referring to St. Croix Montessori?
Yeah,
AT&T.
yeah.
AT&T. Yeah, they're aware of the schedule and our timeline of having a public hearing in February. So, yeah, so when I tried to contact, she was apparently out of town, so. So
Well,
I don't know,
okay.
I don't know how the board wants to proceed.
I had some great questions for her, but I guess I have to wait.
I mean, I can give you comment. I mean, the planning commission is basically supporting both of these proposals. They reviewed them with the applicants and they're supporting them, so. but,
Do we have a report from the planner or no on this?
Was there a report from Kim regarding the cell tower? Let me review our notes here.
Just, it might be nice to, peruse that a little bit. And then I know, I just had a couple of questions. I don't know, was there gonna be any change, for example, to, like strobe lights or something on the thing,
No.
on the towers or
No.
any of that kind of thing?
No, they're just replacing some antennas and adding a couple of antennas. They're not changing the height. They're making some changes within their utility building that won't be seen by anybody. They're all within the confines of the building. So.
And I also just kind of wonder about things like, I think installing some more powerful transmitters, will there be the possibility of some kind of, radio frequency, interference that people might experience, stuff like that. I mean, she could answer that, I'm sure,
Oh,
and maybe the
nothing-
planner's actually gone through some of that.
Nothing's been identified. She did review it and she reported to the planning commission, but there isn't a formal report. Am I right, Kelly? Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're just requesting basically a change to allow them to add a few more antennas onto this tower that's probably won't be noticed.
Mhm. Yeah, I could see where they might not be. There are 2 towers there. Is this the tall one or the short one that they're gonna be
I don't
working
know.
on?
I don't even
Okay.
know. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'll move that we set that on for a public hearing at the February meeting, just so we don't run afoul of timelines. And I'll get my questions answered then.
Okay, and then the planning commission is not going to meet this month, so.
Okay.
We are canceling the meeting for this Thursday. Because our only topic would have been the comprehensive plan, and that can wait, so.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I'll move that we set the CUP amendment on for public hearing at our February meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so we'll set that on for next month. And well, if there is any written report or comment by the planner, it'd be good to receive. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You can have a comment at the next meeting. Just looking at that.
Okay.
Mark, do you want me to contact her to write up a report? Or Chairman?
If you want one. Yeah, actually, the modification is still.
Yeah, I guess it's not necessary if you folks don't think it's necessary. That's fine. Okay. All right. All right, so, let's see, so, yeah, so the next item was this, WSB proposal that you, mentioned. And, I don't really know what action, I mean, I think,
Just a second, Phil, I mean, what about the Montessori school that could be,
oh, I suppose it should be, or what is the status of their timing?
My understanding is that they couldn't get everything done they wanted to get done, so Jake, I kept Sneed, I think is his last name. Anyway, so he pushed out his meeting with the board until February. Next month.
And so we don't have a 60-day clock ticking or anything on that right now?
The application isn't complete yet.
Okay, all right. Very good. Okay, and so the WSB proposal, not to exceed 22,000 to 22,500 to assist us with the drafting of the updated comprehensive plan as required by the Metropolitan Council. I certainly think we should go ahead with that and essentially accept that proposal, but I just leave it up to council to tell me, you know, if there's any memorialization of that has to happen beyond this letter.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chair, I do think it's a good idea to pen this, and as was suggested, I think we can just do that as a simple amendment to the existing agreement, acknowledging this is an additional service that would be provided. And that way too, we can put that not to exceed amount in there, so it's a distinct thing, which is pretty common with engineering and planning services when they do an extra project like this.
Okay.
We would like to have it written up, but if the board wants to move forward with that, I do recommend that you make a motion to approve that.
All right, so I will move that we approve this proposal by WSB to assist us with the comprehensive plan development, and then we go ahead and memorialize that as suggested by council. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
And just to be clear, that motion then authorizes the signature of that agreement as well.
Okay.
Right? Just to be clear.
We'll make that part of the motion also, that this motion does authorize signature to memorialize this once the appropriate contract language has been drafted. Okay. And because this involves expenditure of funds, I assume we'll need a roll call vote.
Sure, Supervisor Bulow?
Aye.
Chairman Musburger?
Aye. Okay. So the next item is the town hall use policy. We discussed this last month, and there were some provisions that we had to change, or that, at least that I thought we should change from what we did last month. So let's see. So I think we've got it in our packet here, the revised policy. And Troy helped, he made some kind of housekeeping type changes and some clarifications. You know, he defined THC beyond just saying it's THC, and some things like that. Also, I understand Troy advised us that we can't say that it's can't be rented for religious to religious groups or for religious purposes. So we struck that eligibility criteria from the policy because I don't know if it's case law or statute, it's probably case law that says we can't do that. The other changes made since last month, the one we looked at last month, obviously we struck all the fees, the application fee, the rental fee, damage deposit when required, $300. However, I think we may want to have a damage deposit depending on the group renting. It would not be required of everybody, but I left the language in there saying that it could be optionally required, a damage deposit, depending on the judgment of the township, whether or not a damage deposit was required for the particular group that wanted to rent it. Once again, no application fee, no rental fee, but potentially a damage deposit. So that's a change from what we talked about last month. We made it clear in there that application fee is not required at this time. May be required in the future, but it is not required at this time. That's in the policy. And what other, I added it occurred to me, somebody may want to have amplified sounds, amplified music or speech or something. And I think in consideration of our neighbors here, we should not allow amplified music or sounds outside the building. Obviously, they can have it inside the building if they want to, but not outside the building for the renters. What's the other one? I think John suggested that, I think maybe the previous language said they'll take the garbage home, but we put in the language saying, at your suggestion, John, that garbage will be removed from the hall and disposed of in a proper receptacle. So those are the changes we made since the version of it that we looked at last time, the substantive changes, aside from kind of some housekeeping things. But what I want to do now is I want us to ratify this new version of the town hall rental policy so that the board has had a chance to look at it and consider it and approve it. And so I'm going to move that we adopt the revised town hall rental policy in the form that we have before us in our packets here.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? Sure, yeah. Well,
We could change it easily to a rental policy.
right, in other words, in the future, if we decide that we want to charge rent, we won't have to redo all the language in here. It's throughout the whole document that we talk about the renter, and, I don't want to call them users. But yeah, no, it's defined, and I think, as John says, in the future, if we do decide to charge rent, a modest amount or whatever, we won't have to redo all the language and stuff. So it's pretty well defined in here, I think, what we mean. So anyway, any further comment? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so we'll adopt that rental policy and we'll post it on the website and along with the application form, and we can start letting people use it. Okay. Let's see, next would be Chad, our engineer, to talk about MPM's newest request for payment.
Thanks, Chair and Board. Yes, the contractor OGM Midwest Minnesota Paving and Materials submitted pay request 7, which has been reviewed and is recommended for payment in the amount of $222,466.14 for work completed on the 2025 street improvement project. The work is substantially complete. This just catches up from quantities and payments owed for work performed on the job previously. We are still retaining $179,336.37 in retainage until such time the project can be closed out with the contract. Yes, the payment is recommended in the amount of $222,466.14. And the funds retained are $179,336.37. $179,336.37.
All right, is this is this substantially the last payment then, or close to the last one, or?
We're waiting to clean up a few minor quantities, waiting on some test results that are undergoing analysis, but it's largely completing. Most of the work is included in this. So
Okay.
there'll be another payment, but it'll be a smaller one with either a reduction or release of the retainage, depending on the paperwork situation.
Okay. John, you had a question?
Yeah, what kind of work do they have left to finish?
It's really settling up the quantities. And then there's some discussion on some section of pavement on Oldridge, which needs to be resolved in the coming spring or summer.
There are also, there are also a couple areas that, they didn't add the full 1 foot on to the side. Are those going to be addressed?
The shouldering,
Yes.
we should review that with you and see.
Okay. Then what about the settling on Nolan by 20th?
We're gonna evaluate that
Okay.
once spring thaws out to see if there's anything.
Well,
wrong.
it's going down.
Okay. So that's what the retainage is largely there for, is
Okay.
to protect our interests along with the warranty.
How long does the warranty last then?
We have a requirement of a 2-year warranty, effectively starting from this past fall. And
Okay.
then we do require a warranty bond to be provided to secure the town's interests through that period to make sure that it gets addressed.
How much is the bond,
It's, I'd have to look at the contract.
roughly?
I hate to guess on the spot, John. I'd like to look into that and get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. All right, so, and it's your recommendation, we go ahead and issue this payment?
It is.
Well, then I will move that we issue payment in response to pay request number 7, as laid out by the engineer. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, and we'll need a roll call.
Chairman Moosberger,
Aye?
Supervisor Bulow.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, and while you're here, Chad, I got a couple quick questions for you. One of them is like, what would be a quick update on our timing, or when we would expect to hear back on the LRIP grant application, rough timeframes?
Sometime in March or April, I believe,
Okay.
we'll understand where they landed with successful applications.
Okay, all right, and I understand there were quite a few applications, many more applications than the available funds, so
That is correct.
stay tuned.
Shucks.
Yeah, surprise. And then the other point I just wanted to cover with you real quick is our pavement management plan, calls for several things to be done next year. And you and I actually discussed this, and you were telling me that, we won't really start the process to accomplish those items that are called for in the pavement management plan until we see how the winter treated us in terms of road conditions. We'll have to reevaluate the road conditions after the spring thaw before we really know how much of that should be done and in what order and that kind of thing.
That's correct, Chairman. With some of the recommended improvements in the pavement management plan, one of them being a thin overlay, before we go ahead and bid out work, just to find out that winter maybe had an adverse effect on one of the roads, we'd like to get eyes on it before
Yep.
including it, just to make sure it's the right prescription for the current condition of the pavement.
Perfect. Okay.
So we are monitoring that and intend to come to the town board with an authorization request to get into the 2026
Okay,
improvements.
great. So we'll stay tuned for that. Thank you, Chad. All right, that pretty much completes what we have on the agenda, except for old and new business matters. Is there anybody got anything under old or new business? Yeah, go ahead.
On the spray patching, some of the patches were about a good 1.5 inches higher than the road. That's the bad news. The good news is they did it late in the year, so when millers went by and plowed the road, they leveled them off. So I don't think we should be paying, I don't know if we pay by the ton or what, but that might be something to address them with them. I've never seen that many patches that high.
And are you pretty sure they were leveled off? Because the reason I ask is
Oh,
because in a lot of areas, I noticed, at least after that first big snowfall, we weren't really plowing right down to the pavement. I mean,
Yeah.
we were leaving, maybe a half inch or something like that.
Yep.
And so I was thinking that maybe that thing would be floating over some of those
It did
patches.
some, but a lot of them had cut down almost flush with the pavement, which surprised me. Because if they would have been done in the spring, they probably wouldn't have happened.
Well, we did some in the spring, after
Yep.
the spring pothole season. Well, all right. Anything else? Any other old or new business?
I have something, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
It's about that time of the year when I apply for the Washington County Recycling Grant. So with your permission, I would go ahead and fill out that application and get that to them by the end of the month. It requires us to do anywhere from 1 to 4 special projects to raise awareness of recycling in our community. It's up to us how many we do. I've always done newsletter education. We've done the curbside recycling program. Not the program, but just promoting curbside recycling in May. If that's something you wanted me to pursue again, last year we tried that mattress recycling program, which I thought was pretty successful. It won't always be free. It was a pilot program, but it will be a reduced rate. I can't tell you the rate right now because I wasn't able to attend the last county meeting that they had on it. But I can gather that information and bring it back to you next month. Get your opinion on that. And then another idea I had was just using some of the money to buy some disposable recycling containers for when we have our township night out, for things to put outside and encourage recycling amongst residents.
It's a great idea. And so when you do the proposal, do we have to know exactly what we're going to do, if we're going to do a mattress recycling and everything, or can that come, does that decision come later, or do we have to make the decision now?
I'm supposed to propose it early rather than later. I can always change it a little bit. So when I do apply, I put in what I think we're going to do, but we can think about it more specifically. And
Well, I guess the only question would be will we know what the cost is going to be for that?
after I do some
now,
research.
or-
Yes, we should know. I mean, it depends on how many people participate. It would, if you're referring to the mattress
Yeah.
recycling.
That's
It
the only
always
one that really-
depends on the number of participants,
Okay.
but I can tell you the costs per mattress, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I think last year they told me we could either do it as a come and drop it off event like we did last year, or you could pay, I think, or the resident or the township or combination of thereof can pay a little bit more and have it picked up at your individual address. So you could just put it on your curb like you would your broken stove or your broken washing machine like we do in May. And they have a really great organization they work with that recycles almost every inch of that mattress. So that's why they think that's a fabulous alternative.
Well, sure. Yeah, I think we should definitely, do what we need to do to get that recycling grant.
Okay.
And we can look maybe next month at some options and, kind of compare costs and cost benefit and so forth on some of these things that cost money. A lot of the stuff that you've done in the past has not cost the township any money, and it's been great because it's been all for the cause of encouraging recycling, and it earns us the grant, and so that's been wonderful.
Well, we can put some of our grant dollars towards some of these things. We can't just pay for the entire, can't pay for everybody to have their, stove,
Yeah.
refrigerator, and
Oh, right.
washing
And in the
machine
past,
picked
what
up.
we've done with
so.
that stuff is we've negotiated special rates with the haulers, and it
I've
really doesn't
tried. Mm-hmm.
cost the township, but it provides an opportunity for residents to do this at a reduced cost, and
Right.
that's a win-win.
Right. Yep.
So,
That always seems to be a good option.
yeah. So
Well, I
let-
can bring back some more specific proposals next month if you want.
Great.
I'll
That'd be
just get it
perfect.
started and,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Appreciate that effort. Thank you very much. Okay. Any other old or new business? If not, we got the public comments coming up, 3-minute limit. Anybody that wants to make a public comment, please feel free to do so.
Pat Schultz, 1440 Norcrest Avenue North. Really hate to bring this one up, but it's going to be about chickens. And basically, when you started off with the purpose of the animal of 17.1, the purpose of getting this ordinance was, in part, amongst many other things, was basically constituting of a public nuisance. And the noise that the roosters are making is basically a public nuisance. Looking at the amendment to this 17 point, the animal one, you look at the amendment, I don't even know if they're actually doing this, to have the chicken coop and everything else that they're supposed to have. I don't know about that one, but that's minor compared to it, but they should be doing that one. So I went to check section 13, I mean. Yes, download it again. Yes, just once. Come on, open up. And in there, they talk about noise. It's a nuisance noise that they have underneath 13.4. Nuisance noise, 14.1, and basically they talk about the noise and that it is a nuisance. There was one Saturday, I want to say the 2nd or the 3rd, where it went on for an hour. The roosters were crowing constantly for an hour. Today it was probably a good 15 minutes to a half hour. Today they were doing it. I'm not always aware of it, but when it's quiet in the morning, when you can hear them constantly, and it wasn't even a break, it was constantly going. And when we have a dog ordinance that says they can't bark more than 5 minutes, it's kind of ridiculous that you turn around and we can let chickens, the roosters keep on going on. So basically the noise is a nuisance. So I look over here in 13.4 and they talk about basically, yes, it's a nuisance, but they say that it's per the standards of the National Pollution Control Agency, but they don't have anything for noise. They have it for air, climate, and whatever, but they have nothing for noise. But it is a nuisance, so they are in violation of the nuisance here, but I don't know what more we can do about that one. I would like to see them turn around and see if we can, I don't know if a registered letter to them saying, hey, by the way, you are violating this, is doing it. I would like to see if we can get, or roosters taken off of the, put back, or no roosters allowed, put in the ordinances. And put in there the fact that, especially in this case here, since they're probably grandfathered in, once they're dead, they can't replace them. But I just think this is just absolutely ridiculous. Somebody complained about it sooner. We're across the field from there, and I can still hear them pretty good, even though we have enough land separating them, but it still is pretty obnoxious. And if it's obnoxious to me, I know the other neighbor that complained about it, they're even closer. And it is it's just a pain in the butt. So whether I go to a planning commission and just say, hey, this is what I want changed, but just to let you know that it's unacceptable. Actually, it's just unacceptable.
One question I have is, what are the hours? In other words, is this happening in the middle of the night, or, you know, real early in the morning, or in the afternoon, or what?
It varies. I mean, the one time it was at between 7 and 8 o'clock continuously one morning I was up. Today I didn't really hear it when I was up, but then it would go on during the day sometime, and it sounded like there was almost somebody, you know, I didn't know if it got the dog barking at all or ever, but it was just really truly obnoxious. So you can't really predict it, but you know, if it was true, but I've heard that they keep them in the garage and they put them out when, you know, when it's later in the morning. I don't know, but I certainly, come summertime or spring, when I have my windows open, that's the last thing I want to be welcomed by, is by the roosters making noise.
I was told by this resident that as you mentioned, they put them in the garage, you know, at night, so, and they don't let them out. I think she said till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But, so if you're hearing it outside those hours,
Definitely this was, you know,
like 7:30 or something.
it's between 7 and 8.
or 7.
That one morning, the second or the third, whatever it was, I was up,
Okay.
and it was going on for an hour continuously. And then, you know, sometimes it's quiet enough that we think that maybe they got rid of them, and then you just hear it take off and go again. So you can't really time it when it is, but the fact that it is there, and it is truly a nuisance. And if we say that dogs can't bark more than 5 minutes, but we let these things crow for 15 minutes to a half hour to an hour, I mean, that doesn't really seem to make sense. And I don't know if there's anything legally we can do to turn around and say, hey, you're in violation of this one. We'll give you a certain time period to get rid of them. I don't know if that's legal or if we can do that, but it's to the point where some people, we have ordinances that, for the most part, for people like this, when they decide that they are living where they can do whatever they want to, and the heck with everyone else. And now we're kind of stuck with this one. So it's kind of like, how do we go from there? I mean, they're grandfathered in, but I don't know if there's any way we can turn around and say, hey, by the way, because you are in violation of our nuisance ordinance, you're going to have to see about slowly getting rid of this, and within a year or whatever it is, get rid of them. I don't know what that is, if we can, but just to let you know, it's a real nuisance.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Any other public comment that anybody would like to make? If not, yeah, I know this is it's kind of an abbreviated meeting, but that's okay. I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
I didn't make it, but okay, I'll make the motion. I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, thank you. We're adjourned.
I think this